Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a timely tarot oracle reading about random shift. If you resonate with the title and thumbnail, this is the perfect reading for you, delivered at the perfect time in timely fashion, courtesy of the universe through the language of synchronicity. This is a collective or general reading, so just be aware parts may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you, leave the rest. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it is probably the perfect time for you. Having said that, if something was going on back when when I posted this, if it's been a while since I've posted it, take a look at what that might bring further clarity to your situation now. We're going to begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck, and we do have the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is representing a young person under the age of 21. This is an energy. The pages would work for the king and the queen in the royal court, and they would start around the age of 7 to 14. They would run small tasks and run communication within the palace walls. Then when they became older, if they were good at what they did, they would be possibly held up for knighthood as long as they could afford a horse at the age of 21. Now, each of these pages has their own element that they focus on. So this page is totally focused on his wand. His wand is made of wood, and it's all about passion. So the one thing you have to understand about the Page of Wands, he's very enthusiastic. The pyramids here represent he loves to learn about new mysteries of the world, and he's very ambitious and enthusiastic and has a really good attitude. He's got a feather in his cap. Having said that, he tends to think with his little head rather than his big head. And so sometimes you have to take what he has to say with a grain of salt. The communication in the old days would be coming in personally. But these days, we have so many forms of communication. The communication could be coming in as a letter in the mail. It could be an email, a telephone call. It could be a text. You could see a message on social media or an event and go to the social media event and end up running into someone that is the perfect person to solve your problem or that you enjoy hanging out with. It's that kind of energy. Also, the news of what's happening in the world can really give you an idea of what's coming down the pike, basically. Shift rolls downhill. That's the energy. All right, so this is talking about you might be like hard at work on a project. The pentacles in the tarot represent health, wealth, and happiness in the third dimensional. So this is talking about money, and as well it also means lifestyle, basically. Your time and your energy and your money, how much you invest in something and what you expect the return to be. In this particular card, we are talking, it's the only one in the tarot where the person is actually working physically on the coin. And so this is actually making money. So this card is about being focused on making money, very focused on that and getting this project completed. This could represent that you've just started a project and you're on the second pentacle and you have 6 to go and this one's complete, or you have 6 complete and you're working on the 7th and then you just have 1 to go and you'll be done the project. It depends on your situation. Okay, so this is talking about disappointment in love. There's been a lot of this energy coming in my random readings right now, and I feel that's because the world is kind of in a topsy-turvy place as I'm doing these readings. We have, a big war happening. We have the Epstein files. There's a lot of energy and information coming in at this time that that energy, as I said, from the news can trickle down into our everyday lives, and it has an effect on us whether we're aware of it or not. And so this is talking about disappointment in love, and I'm sure we can all relate at some point of being disappointed in someone that we loved. Sometimes this can talk about that everybody's a work in progress. That's the kind of energy that I'm getting from this reading. So this card represents someone who is disappointed in love, and the universe is saying, here's a cup of love for you. Give it another go. And he's like, no, thank you. If it's more of the same old shift, I'd rather not even take the risk, because I'm done. Like, I don't even want love in my life anymore. Well, that's kind of silly, because, I mean, that's just hurting yourself, right? So this can talk about we're in a relationship where there was 3 people instead of 2. There could be a situation where there was 3 people instead of 2, and now there's another gift coming in, and that could be in the form of a baby. Remember what I said, the Knight of Wands, or the Page of Wands, has a tendency to think with his little head. think of young men under the age of 20. That's the kind of energy that we're dealing with here. And it doesn't mean that you are a young man with the age. It means that that's the energy you're in, a real passionate and kind of happy-go-lucky. Oh, what could happen? That kind of energy. And this also can talk about a situation where you've given someone 3 chances, and they're asking for a 4th, and you're saying, no, 3 strikes, you're out. I'm moving on from this relationship. It's too much work. That kind of energy. Or it could just represent having had several problems with your relationships when it comes to romance. And the cups can sometimes represent, quite often they do represent romantic love, but they can represent, love for other people in your relationships. And it can also actually represent your love of money and what you've, and so sometimes this card can just represent that you need to heal something within yourself that you're repeating, that is causing you to have issues in your money, your relationship with money, your relationship with your parents, your relationship with your children, your relationship with the city you live in, even that kind of energy. So there's all sorts of relationships. Having said this, quite often this one does represent romance. And look at this. This energy is it's just rampant in these, but I feel that this is what's happening. If I'm having this many random shift readings in a row with people that are having challenges when it comes to love, then that's a challenge right now. And so this is talking again about these 3 cups here being spilt. And this person is in regret or in remorse. So it can represent someone who maybe strayed from the relationship and regrets doing it now in a very big way. Or it could represent the person that had that happen and now they're in remorse. There's these 2 cups here are full of wine that's spilt in the ground, and this one is full of some other liquid. So it's saying there's a couple plus a 3rd person. If you've ever heard the saying, don't cry over spilt milk, that's because you can't, you're going to suck it out of the ground. It's not going to taste very good. So whatever is here is lost, and you can't get it back. Sometimes my grandmother used to say that, be careful with your words, because once they're said, you can't unsay them. And, it doesn't matter what you do. The person you said those words to will remember them forever, like an elephant, that kind of energy. So this can represent that kind of remorse of, hurting someone that you love with your words even, that kind of energy. And so the best thing this person can do at this point is turn around and notice that these 2 are still standing and be grateful that they're standing, pick them up and be very careful with them, appreciate them, and move down the path here, cross over the bridge over troubled waters, and head back to their castle. And you notice their castle is half standing and it's half dilapidated. And this is representing that energy. Is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? And this is talking about appreciating what you do have and working with that to make your life better. And the life of maybe the person that whose feelings are hurt better, that kind of energy. actions sometimes speak louder than words, like most often actually. And so this is talking about someone, the Two of Wands is representing, hello Stella. My cat just showed up. She woke up and she realized, oh, Colette's doing a reading without me, talking about hurt feelings. But she smelled the chicken that I put down for her, so she's torn. Should I come to work or should I eat my chicken? You can eat your chicken. I'll be doing another reading soon. So here, that's the dilemma. She's like, no, I think I'll come here. All right, come on, little love. Yeah, her job is to sit on my lap and purr. A cat's purr has a very healing energy, which is like why I really enjoy having her. She's already got happy feet, so she's hard at work. We're in good paws here. All right, so this is the Two of Wands, and this person is standing on the turret of their castle. And they have this globe in their hand, which represents the world, and they feel like, you know, I have the world in my hands here. I've done everything that I can, and it's time to expand my horizons. And you know, they're looking over at the distant shore, even across the water. Sometimes this energy can speak of energy of an entrepreneur who wants to franchise their business. You know, they've done really well where they're at, but they recognize like there's not that they've had as much success as they can have here. It's like a big fish in a little pond, and they're thinking it's time to expand and be the little fish in a big pond and conquer that now, that kind of energy. And we have the Hierophant coming in. So the Hierophant is talking about traditional structure. This is talking about bringing some justice in to a situation. The Hierophant has his right hand in the form of a blessing, saying that a blessing's coming through. Now, if you're a religious person, this could represent the energy of a pope, you know, a cardinal, a bishop, someone high up in the church, or it could represent a guru, someone like that. If you're a spiritual person, then you are probably going to straight to God. Why have a middleman? Go straight to source energy. And then this also represents once that energy, once you have the answers and court is in session, that court in the spiritual realm comes down to the physical. So this could represent, you know, someone high up in the judicial system. It could be like the energy of someone that is a Supreme Court judge. It could be someone, maybe the Minister for Public Safety kind of energy in the federal government. It could be an energy of, you know, the chief of police in the city, the mayor, that kind of energy. Someone that can bring justice into a third dimensional situation. And then we have, okay, some heartbreak here. Okay, this energy is talking about, we're back on top of this loss here. So this is talking about bringing justice in for this loss. And I feel like in this situation, this could be that this is regarding something you love to do or something you love to be. And while you've been hard at work on your business and getting this project done, perhaps it has had a major effect in your personal life. And so it's both, basically. And so perhaps this relationship is over and now you feel like, hey, it's time to move on. Or it's time to change my relationship with my work. That's what this could actually represent. You know, all work and no play makes Jill or Joe, it's not quite like that, but Jill or Joe a boring person. And so this is talking about sometimes what's driving the third person that's in someone's relationship could be your work. And so you might be a workaholic is basically what I'm saying. And while you are placing this, what you love to do, above your relationship of someone who you love and that loves you, it has caused them to want to move on and find someone that actually has time for them. And so this sword that's driven in between the couple could actually be your work, or it could be your person's the partner that you were with, their lack of understanding of how important your work is to you. There's many scenarios that this could be, but I feel like that's what this card is talking about. It's talking about being a workaholic, like just loving your work so much that you don't even recognize how much you ignore, the person that you love feels ignored, basically. And that they've been trying to communicate that to you, but you're not listening because you're hard at work and you're very focused here. And so this is talking about, this could be a hard-earned lesson, or it could be that you're just with the wrong person and that they're going to have to understand that at this time in your life you need to focus on work, because then this is like really important to you for your career or whatever. And that could represent someone, you could be hard at work and also be going to school while you're trying to, and working to educate yourself as well as paying the bills. So how much time would you really have for a relationship? It's that kind of energy. And we have a transition happening. Yeah, this is talking about the energy of old systems and old traditions maybe not working the same way as they used to anymore. And the death card, actually, a lot of people are afraid of it, but it rarely, very, very rarely means an actual death. It's more about transition, of moving into a different way and ending one type of cycle and beginning a new one. So the Grim Reaper is just a figure that represents that transition, basically, from one space to another, and that could be life and death, but it could also be having to work this hard and now having the time to not have to work that hard because your hard work paid off. That kind of energy. So there's light at the end of the tunnel, understanding that, and also that this energy, could represent someone, maybe you're in a partnership where they they would rather have less, or they don't really enjoy their work, so they don't understand how you can enjoy your work that much. So if they give up their work, it's not going to affect them in the same way that it would you. It's that kind of energy. So it's about having that understanding that sometimes the traditional structures aren't working anymore. Things are different from how they used to be. Could also be talking about what used to work in your life or what used to work in your relationship isn't working anymore. And so this is talking about, when the Grim Reaper comes to town, someone who's really in this energy and wants things to be the same and they don't want change is going to barter with the Grim Reaper and say, come on, I'll give you some money if you'll just go away so we don't have to have change. And yet these two little ones here, this one's offering a flower to the Grim Reaper. And this is basically saying, it's showing that there's the new is blooming, and we have to sometimes understand that, every relationship we have changes and is constantly changing, whether we're aware of it or not at the time. The one thing we can count on is change. Change is the one constant we can always count on. And so this energy is talking about, the king has been trampled, but this isn't actually talking about trampling a king. This is talking about the systems that have been in place for generation after generation after generation are shifting. And as those systems are shifting and we're moving into change, then each and every one of us has to learn to adapt to that change. We have the Chariot coming in. So the Chariot is representing someone who's on their destined path, and this is happening right now. Supreme Court, or Spiritual Court, has been in session, and the judgment has been called, and whatever the result of that is coming through. And this is coming, it means it's already on the spiritual realm, which means it's coming down onto planet Earth. And this is talking about, this person, there's no rains here, there's no need for rains, because this person is on God's path. This is like a tank. Tung, 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 tung. You're on your destined path for what you came here to do, and it might not have anything to do with work or your relationship. And that could be part of the issue as well. Someone maybe is like, wow, have you ever changed? Like, you used to be so much fun. Now all you do is like talk about this new passion of yours, and it's not me. It's about something you're doing rather than, and that's not me. And so this is talking about the Ace of Cups coming in. So it is talking about a divine partner. Maybe that it's time for this relationship. It's served its purpose, and now you're stepping into a different phase in your life or a new cycle, and that there's going to be a new love coming into your life that has an understanding and resonates with the energy that you're in now, and that this was destined to happen. And that's, perhaps it's time for this relationship that you've been in has served its course, that kind of energy. And then it's also talking, the Page of Cups is talking about some sort of energy coming in here. Shh. Be quiet. Thank you. This is talking about some sort of information coming in from the Page of Cups now. So we have the passion here, but this is also talking about the actual love. And so this is talking about possibly someone that also has the same passion as you, that is also a new partner for you, so that you're perfectly suited to be with each other, so that you're on God's, on your destined path, and this was meant to happen. And this can talk about, so this Page of Cups is very focused. He understands there's plenty of fish in the sea, but he is very focused on this fish. And so this is talking about, this could be online dating. It could be an energy of, as I said, all the different ways that we can communicate. And one of that you meet someone, or you already just have, and they're very passionate about what you're doing as well, and you just broke up or whatever from the relationship you're in, and this is the timing, this is the perfect timing of the Chariot coming through. Sometimes this can also represent that there's something fishy, something stinky, because in your love life, and that you need to look into it. So this energy is like, maybe you need to quit working so much if you want to keep this relationship. So this is talking about being very focused on your work. This is about making money. This is not so much lifestyle. So this is the problem. If you're so focused on making money, quite often your lifestyle does suffer. And then we have a transition is happening, and it's happening right now. It's already in the ethers, and it's coming down into your energy. And this is, it's regarding your love life, and it looks like God is sending in a divine partner for you if you've just split up with someone, or saying that maybe it's time to let this relationship go, because you need to be, this is your destined path. And you're not going to be stopping this energy. So now you may as well do it now, and then someone new will come in to replace that energy. The Hierophant is talking about bringing that justice from the spiritual realm into the physical. And then this is, now it's a whole new world for you. Like you might even be wanting to change location, that kind of energy. Perhaps what this is saying is this, everything that's happened in this cycle has, that you have now reached the ultimate, that you are, that you can learn from this cycle. And it's time now to let go of the disappointment and recognize that this is a natural transition. So I feel like this energy is probably more someone who is dating rather than someone who's married kind of energy. And maybe you are engaged and you were thinking that this was the one, but now it's not working the same way as it used to. This can be talking about a lot of energies in your own life. So it can be saying like the things that you used to love, that you thought, I will always love doing this. I will never give this up. This is my favorite thing to do. All of a sudden you wake up one day and you go, you know what? It bores me now. And you have to face that about, hey, now I got to find something else that I'm passionate about. Now, what is that going to be? It's that kind of energy. So let's see now. I'm going to clarify this for those of you who want further clarification. And it's, I'm using my Oracle, Tales from the Vector, T-A-I-L-S. So Tales from the Vector is from the courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. Oh, here's the cards that want to come out here. All right, are you ready to go? So in the description box below, I will have I've been working on this since 2007, and I completed all the paintings in 2020. But right now I'm working on the energy of moving forward with this and printing it out. But I'm working on the information that goes with the booklet. I do have a lot of information that's on my website, talesfromthevector.com. And so the numbers on these cards represent the paintings in the order that they are in the gallery on my website. You can check it out there if you want further clarity. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so here we go. So we have otherworldly desires and worldly desires. This is a karmic space. So yes, this is talking about having passion, not just for the physical world, but actually for your destined path, what you came on. And what's really interesting about that is sometimes that will come over someone and it seems like overnight a person changes, but it's actually something they've been building up to. If you really look into it, you'll notice that within yourself. And what you used to think was really important doesn't feel important anymore. And now this has taken on a whole new importance that generally could be the otherworldly desires on the spiritual level. And so this can become a karmic space. Because if you don't honor that, then you're not going to be following your authentic desires, and that can be represented also by this. This card is in the center of the reading here, and so this sometimes can mean, the swords represent our thoughts and our mind and our intellect, and so this can sometimes represent the subconscious mind, which are the thoughts that we've had since we were born until we're about 6 or 7 years of age. The subconscious mind is formed, like babies are like sponges. Look how much they learn just in the first year alone. And so the subconscious mind is actually built on the environment that you are in as a baby, and also, and up to the age of 6 or 7, when the people who are in charge of your care, it's actually their thoughts of who they thought you are. And they tell you, when you were a baby, you were like this and like that. And then they put their perspective on it. It was because of this or whatever, but it's actually their thoughts, not yours. And yet the subconscious mind is the most heavily imprinted on us. And it's the one that, if we're triggered by something, that we go to first. And it's not often, it's quite often not that reliable. We have the unconscious mind, and a lot of people will say, well, I'm a human being with a soul. But in actual fact, it's more accurate to say that you are a soul traveling in a human body, and this is your vehicle to be on your destined path, to navigate through Earth, to get done what you came here to do. Your soul has needs just as your physical life does, and if those needs are ignored, the unconscious mind can become very loud. And then we have the energy of the conscious mind. This is what you have a handle on. This is your own experiences, what you know from life experience, from your memory of what's like a clear memory, that's your memory. And so when these three come together and they're congruent and they're plugged into your heart, then you're on your destined path. And so everything else kind of falls away because now your soul's talking. And and actually my oracle cards are meant to soothe the soul. It's artwork that soothes the soul, and sometimes it doesn't soothe. It doesn't seem to fit in with with what's going on in your life right now, because the soul needs for you to listen right now. And so this is talking about having the courage to look at things from different perspectives. Life isn't supposed to be a battle. But sometimes we have to, battle through our feelings, and really understand, to have the courage to face our subconscious mind and say, well, maybe that's not really me. And maybe what I need to do is look at it from a different perspective. We have the Libra energy. A lot of times relationships, sometimes people will say, and it's common for this to be, you're not the person that I married. Well, I hope not, especially if you've been married for any length of time, because hopefully you've learned something, and you're not exactly the same person. And so some people change a lot over the years as they gain knowledge and life experience. So the Libra energy is about the scales of justice and weighing those scales and weighing what's important to you, your investment, and how much are you going to invest in others, and how much are you going to invest in yourself, and what is the return going to be? Is it going to be a fair exchange? That kind of energy. So the Libra energy is when you become a mature adult and you can handle a commitment, like, and understand what a commitment is. Quite often this will be, okay, now you would be ready to make a commitment such as marriage and having children, because it's a way bigger responsibility than you think it is. Until you have a baby, you don't realize how much work that's going to be, basically, and how much it's going to change you. So when these signs come in, the horoscope signs come into my readings, I'm not talking about an individual person. My intention is for people to understand that we have a little bit of every sign in us, and we can see what is the strongest state of being for this sign, and we can learn from that energy. That's what I'm interested in bringing up. And sometimes this will have a stage of life. Now, Libra, a lot of times when you're 35, you're mature enough to be ready for marriage, but you could be mature enough for marriage at 20, and you could take till you're 60 before you're mature enough. It's that kind of energy. And then we have the Leo energy coming in, and this is representing this energy right here. So it's someone who's enthusiastic. You think about teenage boys and how impulsive they can be, though. And a lot of time they have one thought on their mind, and that's the kind of energy. And so this is talking about, Leo energy is about being a natural born leader. And, sometimes it takes, that leadership role. It requires maturity and life experience, and that's something you can only do by experiencing it. So you're going to make mistakes along the way. If you're doing your best to become a better version of yourself, you're not going to not make mistakes. The question is, are you going to learn from them? And remember, you can also learn from other people's mistakes. So indifference is a karmic space. And so it's like, yeah, we're all in it together and we're all making progress, but some people make more progress than others at different times, and that can affect relationships, especially when, if people become indifferent to other people's suffering or to their what's going on in their life, then it can cause these problems in relationships. Surrender, this is about, it's cold in here, there must be something in the atmosphere. This could sometimes represent ancestors coming through your dreams and also wanting to get your attention. And this can be, if that spirit energy is coming through, sometimes it'll feel like a cold breeze came into the room. And that can sometimes feel like, oh, someone from the other side is trying to get in touch with you. Use your intuition to see if you can connect. A lot of times that will come through in your dreams, or there'll be flashing lights in for no reason. And that can be sometimes the way that your ancestors are communicating with you from the other side of the veil. And then we have the Emperor energy. So the Emperor is talking about performance. And the Emperor is when he's someone who has the qualities of all four kings from the minor arcana rolled into one, and because of this he has so much life experience, and that's when you can have this performance. So it's saying, like, if life is perfectly imperfect, it's so that we can learn from it and move forward. But I feel in this situation, this could represent many different areas of people's lives, and so just take it for what works for you and leave the rest. I do hope you've enjoyed this reading. I will be back with another reading about random shift. If you have enjoyed it and had some value from this, please do give it a like and a comment, as that really empowers me to build my channel. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy. It would be my honor if you did so. I will be back with another reading about random shift. Whoops. My cat is saying, "What are you doing? Waking me up."